Hello everyone and welcome back to H2 Combo. I hope you had a great new year, ready for 2023, and guess what? We got another Tera Raid coming up very soon. This one's not a 6 or 7 star raid, but this is just kind of something they kind of alternate between raids, specials like the Cinderace raid, which, by the way, in the upper right hand corner, if you're still having trouble figuring out how to solo Cinderace or how to grind, I made a video based on that. Slowbro's the way to go, yo. But in this next weekend that we're going to have here, starting on January 6th to January 8th, we are going to have 4 5-star raids with Hydreigon and Dragapult. So you'll be able to see those if you have Nintendo Switch Online. So if you have PokemonScarlet, you're going to be getting Hydreigon, and in Dragapult in Pokemon Violet. So these are going to be in a good kind of a raid. I am going to cover this very briefly, even though they're 4 5-star raids. They shouldn't be that difficult. But based on the last event that we had with the T-Tar and the Salamence raids, people were having a little bit of trouble, especially with the steel types and things like that. So I've actually got an updated list of Pokemon to use that you can always kind of depend on going into these battles, and I'm going to discuss some of the things from the previous raid and ones that we're going into. And I think we're just going to continue doing this if they're going to keep alternating weekends with these things. But these are very, very powerful, very, very strong Pokemon to add to your team, especially when the rank ladder resets in a couple days. So let's get into it. Okay, so back on Pokemon database, as you can see, you can go to this site. It's actually, they're updating it pretty well here. Let's talk about Hydreigon real quick when you're going into these battles. It's a dark dragon Pokemon. It has the ability to levitate, so no ground type attacks are going to work on this guy. It is a special attacker, if you did not already know. Good, decent speed stat. This is one you're going to see for a good while until some of the others get dropped. But its moveset pool is mostly Dragon and Dark, like we've talked about. Special attacker. It can get some of these other moves over here, so it can have some fire-based moves and things like that, but it isn't naturally going to get those. It has a 4 times weakness to Fairy, but once again, if it's going to be a different Terra type every time, like Steel is one that everybody's going to be going after, you don't want to really bring a Fairy type to that attack. Okay, so do keep that in mind. If it's anything else but Steel, go at it with the Fairy type. I think you should be fine, and we can talk about some of the differences between that. But that's one thing I really wanted to bring up, is as you going up against this guy, the big one I want to talk about is Dragapult here. Dragapult is an interesting character here. It has actually a lot of moves it could have, and I really want to talk about the Clear Body, which prevents other Pokemon from lowering its stats. So those of y'all going in there thinking you're gonna do Chilling Water and or Screech it or whatever you think it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. There's a way around that, and I'm gonna show you that here in a little bit. Infiltrator's just gonna hit right past subs. You don't really have to, or actually even your reflects. So reflecting and putting the light screens, it's gonna go through it. So yeah, there's an issue with that there. And Cursed Body is even another one. It will disable the move that you hit it with. So it can only disable one at a time, but if you're like, you know, if you only have one attacking move, that's really going to kind of mess the whole group up. This is really what I want to grind about, is how to deal with this guy's abilities. So neutralizing this guy's abilities is going to be key to actually get to some victories, and we're going to talk about most of those here. I think Dragon is a very good type for it to have, because with those Dragon Darts moves, that's one of its special moves. If you didn't know that, it's what I like to call the Dragon Double Tap. It'll actually hit for 50 damage twice, so that's 100 damage, but it's very, very useful, especially in doubles. It's very interesting to use here. I just found out that I can't remember, but like if it can't seem to hit 2 attackers on the field, like 150 here, 150 there, it's going to, like for example, you have one fairy type on the board, it'll actually double into automatically the one thing because it couldn't hit the fairy type. Or if someone else protects, this will double into the other guy. So it's very, very useful move in doubles. But anyway, it's got ghost type moves and things we've already kind of discussed. Bug, very interesting thing to have to play with. I think it's a very good one, but how to handle it in raids is what we really need to bring up, is some of these setups here. So once again, going back to Showdown, wanted to show you real quick an updated list of Pokemon I'm going to recommend to bring into these upcoming battles here, and you'll be able to fly through them. Obviously, Iron Hands is going to be very, very useful if it gets the Hydreigon, unless it's a ghost type. So pretty much any other type, I think Iron Hand's got it. You don't even have to worry about that. Dealing with the Dragapult could be possible, could be useful, but if it's got Cursed Body, let's say it is a Dragon type, so therefore you will be able to hit it with your Drain Punch. But if it's got Cursed Body, you can't Drain Punch it anymore. So that's one of the reasons why we brought that up. It's just very interesting to kind of see how it'll go here. So I think you're good with Iron Hands as a good offensive lead. You could bring Azumarill on some of this, but let's be honest, I kind of feel like some people are overdoing Azumarill at this point. I think you can do a little bit better at this point, because we're kind of got to a good bit of the game now to where you don't have to grind for him all the time. But hey, you know, you do you. I'm going to recommend this, though. If you are then going up against a ghost type, King Gambit is going to be your new offensive lead. I think he's very, very useful. Defiant Nature is going to be Defiant Ability is going to be very, very helpful. Same thing like a Iron Hands. High attack, very huge high attack. It doesn't even, I know it doesn't have Belly Drum, but you could Sword Stance and Iron Defense ups and be just a physical wall. Katao Cleave will always hit. It has 100% accuracy. It doesn't check accuracy. So that dark type going up against a ghost type will destroy it. So I think it's very, very useful. If for some reason it turns into a fairy type, you do have a chance with it against this. And some people will probably comment, no, that's insane, don't do that. But yeah, on the special side, he's lacks a little bit more. But if you want to build one specially defensive, you totally could. But I think Expert Belt's the way to go, unless you want to do Black Glasses for dark type damage. You could do Metal Coat for iron, for more, you know, metal damage to kind of boost it that way if you're going to be using that move. So just wanted to bring up those. But let's talk about these four guys right here. There's a reason why I brought these four in here. Let's talk about one thing that these guys all have in common. They all get moves that change your opponent's abilities. I'll say that one more time. They all get moves that change your opponent's abilities, or they have an ability that will negate the other's abilities. This is something to bring against Dragapult, if you didn't know. And I think about this also for like Gengar and other things like that. Some of these Cursed Body things, they can be very annoying. Abilities like Mirror Armor for Corviknight can be very annoying. You can get rid of it first turn. So let's take a look. So I've been playing with this. The Titan's actually a very good one. Bulky boy to bring in there. Has a high attack. I think he's going to be useful here. I think Thick Fat put in there, and Entrainment will give that its own ability. In other words, Thick Fat to the Dragapult. Let's say you wanted to do that. Or you could just change it to Slush Rush and not be anything. I would not put Sheer Force in there. That would just, you know, quicken your death a little bit. But Ice Spinner is a good one to use to kind of remove some terrain. And you could probably even use this against other Pokemon of similar nature. But that Entrainment right there, the target's ability changes to match the user's. That's what it'll do. Do that turn one, and it's that way for the rest of the game. I put Belly Drum in here just to say, hey, he is another Belly Drum user, but he has no way of recovering. So there's no Drain Punch. There's nothing to recover. But, you know, it's worth a shot. You know, it's something to kind of mix it up a little bit. Another one to use, Go-Goat, the GOAT, as I would say here. This guy's underrated. I think he really, really is. A good defensive build. You could probably even build him more on the Adamant Nature if you really want to. Drop a Miracle Seed on him. Give him the ability Grass Pelt, which will, if a grassy terrain is active, will boost your defense by 1.5. That's the reason why I'm bringing this one up. It has the ability also Worry Seed. Worry Seed gives the target's ability, then becomes Insomnia. You can't put it asleep anymore, but you also don't have to deal with its ability. So it's very interesting. So if you go up against, I would only use this up against like a water type, Terra type version of Dragapult. That's my recommendation for this guy. Horn Leech will literally recover 50% damage. It's like a grass version of a Drain Punch, and bulk up to kind of get through all that. I've actually used this against water types. They can't do jack against you. It's very awesome to use. And then once you even drop that Terra type, you're doing even more damage. But really only useful against water and ground types. I would say rock. And it does do good against rock as well, but if you got Iron Hands, there kind of negates that. I hate to say it, but it really does. I want to bring up this guy. This guy's just fun to use and could tick off some of your teammates. but I'm bringing him up because he has his ability Doodle. Doodle does the opposite. It doesn't move it does the opposite of entrainment, but it makes the opponent's ability become your ability and your allies. So if Dragapult has Cursed Body and you Doodle Cursed Body, you get Cursed Body, and all your allies do too. All 4 people that are battling in the raid, which is kind of funny if you think about it, because if all of you have Cursed Body and a contact move hits one of you, it could disable Dragapult's move, and therefore it can't use it for a couple turns. I don't know how in depth it'll go, but it'll be funny just to kind of see. I really think it'd be kind of interesting. It'll pretty much do the same thing. It just copies the ability and gives it to everybody else. Even if it has Clear Body. Clear Body is even more awesome, because then, you know, you don't have to worry about anybody's stats getting dropped. Now, it doesn't help you drop his stats at all, therefore Acid Spray won't help as much. But, you know, I wanted to kind of throw that in there. This one is totally a support. Helping hand to just kind of help others kind of figure out where to go. Poison Touch in case like if they do hit you, they have a 30% chance of getting poisoned. Leftovers. I put it a very interesting defense build here, as you can see. 231 special defense and defense. Y'all can mess with that if you really want. I just tried to give it a good balanced survival so it could be used anywhere. But you know, you do you. Copycat. It's just funny. I just put that in there, funny. It'll copy the last move. So let's say Dragapult tries to hit you with Dragon Darts, and it was the last move that went. It'll copy Dragon Darts, and you'll double tap it back. It's very. I think this will be fun to see and use. I gave it Fairy type just to kind of be immune to all the other things, but I just was messing with it. You can mess with Tera type if you want. Don't have to be that serious. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make a Grafafai and bring it in there. And see what it does. I think that's really cool, and I have tested it out. It will do that in the raid. It will. The Doodle will work, but you got to use it turn 1, not before the shield. I mean, you got to do it before the shield. Next thing up is Oinkalong. If you have not seen some of these videos going on, there is a doubles battle that I did post. I did not create the team, but I did use someone else's doubles team code. But I'll leave that in the description in the upper right hand corner if you want to check it out. They're very good in a doubles match to help remove some abilities here. This is how I learned about this one. I think it's the male version of Oinkalong gets Lingering Aroma. Lingering Aroma, if you get hit by a contact move, it will then basically give Lingering Aroma to whoever touched you. So you could self-proc with your own people. I'm not saying in raids, but in the battle, in the video that I showed, it shows that. Basically how to get rid of a Slaking's Traunt ability. But also if they hit you, or if you hit them with a contact move, this will basically take away their ability. So this is another way to take away the ability. I think this one's kind of interesting. It's a good defensive build. You could do Stockpile that will increase your defense and special defense, and then you can body press them if they're not a ghost type. If they are a dark type or whatever, you can hit them with Play Rough, and then in Chilling Water is just a good support. So this is all of these are really good kind of support mons. But I just wanted to kind of throw these out. If you're having trouble with the abilities of your opponents in max raid battles, use one of these 4. There are others. Meow Scarda actually could be another version of Go-Goat, but the bulk is a little bit different. But it is possible to be used if you really wanted to do that. It does get Worry Seed. But just throwing that out there so you don't sit there and struggle. It's like, why are my abilities getting disabled every time I can't hit them? I foresee that being a problem with a lot of people, so I wanted to give you some options there. But anyway, tell me what you think. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and subscribe for more details as we keep going into all these Tera Raid battles. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.